Yeah, so this is a conversation to what we did is we launched a little question to all of the people following AV&R. Just what questions do you have for us? So I've got David here, and we're going to have a conversation and look to try and answer some of those questions, and hopefully we make this interesting and fun. My name's Michael. I head up the sales team and the product development team here at AV&R.
And my name is David. I'm head of all the robotic finishing and development team. So making everything we can so that we have a wider and wider offer in robotic finishing.
Okay, so first question that came in was, what are AV&R's activities? So the overall, or the quick answer on that is we're specialized in robotic finishing and visual inspection systems. And so robotic finishing is anytime somebody has to pick up a part in manufacturing and they have to polish it, deburr it, grind it, and they're looking to take that process and automate it. So that's where we fit into in terms of the robotic finishing systems. Visual inspection is any time someone picks up a part and they have to look at it and say, does this look like another part, or is there any defects on the surface of this part? So we work to automate that process. And in terms of the industry verticals, predominantly we're in the aerospace industry, but over the past year we've been working hard and working a lot with customers to branch out into the medical device industry, looking at orthopedic implants. Next question was, where are we located? So I'll answer this one again. So we're here in Montreal, Quebec. We've got a number of agents and representatives around the world. So we're in we do business in 16 different countries, which has made this crisis quite interesting. Staying connected with our customers, supporting our customers. I'm really getting used to this video chat, that's for sure. And we've got representatives spread out to kind of covering each of the major areas of the world. So I won't go further into that because I can see down further there's another question touching upon that. Next question was, how long has AV&R been in business? So this happens, if you've been following us on social media, this happens to be our 25th year. So the marketing team has put a lot of effort and done a great campaign around our 25th year. So you can see on some of our YouTube videos kind of the evolution and some of the cool solutions we've gotten into over the years, and it's changed quite a bit as we've gotten into some of the different areas.
Hey, Mike.
Yep.
How long have you been at AV&R?
So I started 2007, and so that's what brought me to this to the province of Quebec and to Montreal. This was my first job moving to Montreal. How about yourself?
So I came in 2011, so close to 10 years now. Yeah.
Ooh, and it's 10 years. That means I'm a lot older than that.
Well, you're the one saying it. And I was before that I was in the aerospace industry. But just to make myself a little younger, I mean, it was close to be my first job.
Okay.
Yeah.
So the next question is, does AV&R have different facilities around the world? So we have 2 offices here in Canada. So David, you work out of the downtown one quite often?
Yes, I do work at both. Yeah, but downtown office, yes.
Yeah, that's where mostly our software team and a lot of our development team is headed up. Then we have the St. Bruno as our headquarters. And then we have a person in France, Julian. He's in France out of Toulouse, and he covers Europe. We have a distributor in China covering that area of the world. If you've been if you guys have been following, we've got an agent in Japan. So we just announced the new agent in Japan, and we also have an agent covering Eastern Europe. So the next question we have is, what does humanizing robotics mean? I get this one all the time, so I'll take a run at this one. So the way I see, I've been in robotics, to put an age on myself, I've been in robotics 20 years. So I graduated in 2000, and my first job was into automation systems and robotics, and I spent 8 years in the automotive and food and beverage and pharmaceutical, working in all those different fields, implementing machine vision and robotics. And the one common thing that, as I've seen automation change, there's always been, it used to be that we were trying to eliminate people from the equation, so we were saying, okay, North America is a high cost country, and we have to, the low-hanging fruit is there's a business case to automation. Now, as we get further and further down the road and different areas of the world, so I mentioned we were into 16 different countries, more and more the storylines we're seeing is people are trying to do more in their manufacturing, not just remove people from the equation, but give people tools to be able to do more, produce more, and get into more difficult operations. So we came up with this humanizing robotics because we're not trying to remove people from the equation. In behind the scenes, even though a robot is doing a job, there is a whole host of people supporting that operation. So you've got people that are your maintenance crew, which are there making sure that everything is running correctly. Is the system calibrated? Do I have to load abrasives? Do I have to clean the system? You've got usually the person on the floor, which is running the robot, and they have some sort of relationship with this system. If it's working well, their day is going great. If it's not working, then they have problems to solve. So we saw this interaction with people, and we wanted to empower them to be able to use the system more easily and have a better, a closer relationship with the system, essentially. So there's that aspect of it where we're really trying to bring these mechanical and electromechanical systems closer to people. And there's topics such as cobots and stuff like that. This is a common thing that's happening around the industry right now. The other aspect of it is, of course, I was listening to you, David, talk about, some of the new processes and stuff like that. The processes are just getting more complex. We have to put more smarts into the machines. We have to put more sensors and more, so it can feel what it's doing, it can see what it's doing. There's the whole artificial intelligence, which is becoming a very interesting topic, where the applications are just getting stranger and stranger what these machines can do. So, there's kind of two sides to this. One where we're trying to make the robotics more accessible to people, and we're also working hard to make the robotics themselves more intelligent and, you can almost say, human-like in the way it works.
I really see this as a challenge of getting the robotics more and more accessible to people, right? And I really like to think our system of our system as, enhancing human capabilities, right? So that the operator, or when it's on a shop floor, right, is there to enhance capabilities, either by being more safe or either by being more repeatable, but it still is something that a human will work with to improve, right, the skills. So I see this as really a great challenge. And you were talking about adding a lot of intelligence to our systems and making them maybe more complex. But what we want to do really is get the systems the systems to be simpler to use, right? Simply the way they're made, simpler the way they're made. And it's a really hard job to get something complex, but bring it to so that it's simple to use, right?
Yeah.
So that's when you were talking about harder, like more and more complex processes. That's it. We want to make complex stuff simple.
Yeah.
And that's a hard job. But when it's done, then I mean, it makes a complex task easy. That maybe recoups the first idea I was talking about, which is, you know, enhancing the human skills, right?
Yeah, with all the the lockdown and the crisis going on, I've been looking around at a lot of the mobile robots and stuff like that, and you know the layers of technology that go in what looks, at the end of the day, when it works well, it looks very simple, right? So when a solution comes and you're able to use it and it's simple, that means that it works well too. So that's a real something that we put a lot of effort into, and we try and get better at every day, making sure that these systems do feel simple to the people using them. So now, what are the main benefits of robotic systems? So I always call this the who cares question. So why should people care about robotic finishing and robotic inspection? So I think the trends that we were seeing up until this crisis hit was there was new, when we talk about aerospace and when we talk about even in the medical market, the new techniques of manufacturing, the new designs were just getting more and more complex. And, you know, so there was new methods that were being sought after for being able to produce these parts and be able to produce them in a sustainable way. So sustainable, I mean, can you scale your manufacturing facility? Can you have it so that you can have different locations manufacture the same part to the same quality? So those were the big drivers that were really pushing robotics and the new development of new technology and new processes, beyond the typical, you know, just saving time and all that. That's all still remains true and important. Now today, with the crisis and with the virus, I can see new benefits coming into play, where, you know, the safety of people, not only from a process standpoint, sometimes it's dangerous when they come in and they're grinding, doing some heavy grinding on a part, but also just from an aspect of, for the next year, depends on who you talk to, maybe it's 2 years, we're going to have to practice social distancing. So how do you do that in a work environment, especially where there's a lot of hand finishing or manual operations? So we're starting to see people look at robotics and automation as a way to help people keep people safe because of this new dynamics that we're starting to see with the reality of the virus that's now upon us. With that, you know, scalability issues. I think aerospace, we're seeing a big drop in volume right now. So there's a lot of uncertainty as to where these new engine programs are going, and will people decide to fly old airplanes or will they replace them? But one thing is for certain, the companies that are able to manufacture in more locations will be more resilient if there's additional waves of the virus. So imagine a world where we're now tracking and testing everybody to keep everyone safe, you know, if there's a breakout of the virus in an area. So if you're having revolving blackouts, your facility in one area may not be able to operate for a period of time. So companies will have to think about, how am I able to scale my operations and kind of decentralize things to add resilience to my manufacturing? So I can see these robotic systems playing an important role in helping getting people back to work and keeping manufacturing going. Next question. How is AV&R able to support its clients overseas? And this is a good one. David, maybe I'll let you, I see my name on this, but maybe I'll let you start a little bit. But I started talking about, you know, the new reality, and we're not able to, I'm sitting in my house and as we all are. So how are we able to support our clients?
Well, first thing, I mean, again, a lot of things goes through the software, because one of the first thing that happens is the software typically reports some issues that happens in the system. So we first put some mechanism which ease up the debugging from our perspective. Okay, so I go really technical here. So I'm pretty sure you can go and put this, human contact layer that exists. But I want to just mention that on the technical portion, or technical side, sorry, we get those mechanisms in place to help the diagnostic of the issues that could happen on the system. So that's one thing. We have our client resource group that's there to offer 24/7, support to our clients. So that's another thing we have in place. And lastly, what I would say, and I'm pretty sure you have plenty of things to add on that, but I would say that we are releasing really often new functionalities on our system. So everything's running fine, but clients want to do more or different things with the system, right? And that happens all the time. As you mentioned, the clients, they start to be more and more comfortable with the way our system works. They are more and more able to perform new tasks with the system, and they request new features, etc. So we are able to put in place those new solutions and send them to clients, support them, and in the first operation of those new features they want and they need. So that's also something we're doing. So that's again more on the software side. And the last thing we've done as well is we could also prepare some retrofit kits, so that the client could change some equipment in the system. As we mentioned, we try to be as modular as possible, so we could even send kits to change the purpose of a system by changing the equipment inside it.
So the only thing I would add to that, and this is one of the reasons that I really enjoy working here at AV&R, it speaks to our culture. Almost every business, except those making masks and ventilators, have slowed down. The one thing that we didn't slow down was our support group. So our support group is still, every one of them is up and running, and we have some critical projects going on at the office, and I see them at all hours of the day answering emails. I get every support email come through my inbox as well too. So that remains a very important thing for us, and with clients and customers in 16 different countries, 24/7 is the only way to do that. So that's the backbone of AV&R and our culture is making sure that our customers are up and running and succeeding. The last question is probably the best one. So if I wanted to be part of the AV&R team, what type of background should I have? So David, what type of, you get to interview some of the young and the bright kids coming out of school. What type of background do you look for?
Definitely, we have mostly technical people with technical background. So it could be some technicians or engineers.
Yeah.
But it's all in the way you are, right? It's you want to be curious, you want to be techie, a bit geek, right?
Yeah.
You want to be creative, because we want new solutions. We were looking for open-minded people as well. You want to be able to throw in some ideas in the brainstorm, even though it makes no sense really, but you're throwing this out, and then someone else is going to have a really good idea because of this, just idea you had, and you just said it out loud. So those, are really thing, creativity, open-mindedness, techie, geeky people. Yes, so that's mostly it. And yeah, in terms of scholar background, it's either technician or engineers we're mostly having here, for a solution. And more we're going towards, as a lot of companies we're going towards software development.
Yeah.
So of course, you have to understand how software works,
Yeah.
because that's a reality that's getting taking more and more place in the solutions we're offering.
Yeah. Yeah, when I was growing up, my father was a math teacher, so of course he's going to say you have to study math, you have to do it. Now I find myself with my kids, math is built into so many things, but it's more and more like you're saying, computer science, or that you have to understand computers, and the better you are at it, doesn't matter what field you choose your expertise in. You could be a lawyer, but if you're really comfortable with computers, you're going to be deadly in that field, and you're gonna shine. So I agree with you that that's becoming and is a very important aspect of everything what we do every day.